Hi guys, I'm back. So welcome back to the Book Corner. I'm Hermione, author and purveyor of literature. My opening seems to change a little bit every time I do a video. But anyways, we're going to be doing a Rirodan rant, and I'm going to try to avoid the R word as much as possible in this video. But I'm also going to kind of talk towards the end of it. I'm going to talk about another author that I'm more like. I didn't realize this at the time, and I will tell you what that is towards the end of this video. So let's talk about Rirodan and why he's probably a byproduct um, of like either his desire to um, stay relevant or his desire to just be annoying. So I know I probably have a lot of Rirodan fans on my channel, and I hope I do not insult anybody with this video, but I just feel like it has to be said and everything. So back in, I believe it was, I think early 2000s or something like that, I discovered the Lightning Thief, and it was interesting. I was on the internet. This was a couple years ago. I was on the internet, and this guy who's this Christian fuddy was talking about how his daughter brought home the Lightning Thief as a for a reading thing, and he literally threw this book in the garbage, and he was upset that he had to pay for it. Like, yeah, that's what happens when you do something like this. You have to pay for it so they can get the book again and put it back in their circulation. He didn't like that he had to pay for it. And I don't know what happened with that. He just ranted about it and stuff like that. I just thought it was stupid. But you go and look at, like, what he says. Like, he said several years ago that he was not going to be writing any more Percy Jackson. That this was the end of it, that the no more Percy Jackson, Camp Half-Blood was gone. And then he brings out the Chalice of the Gods, which is listed as the 6th Percy Jackson book. And I'm like, what was this about that we were not going to get any more stories from Camp Half-Blood? Oh, please, can you please plan out these fucking books of yours? And then if it's not that, it's like you can't go a year without a new Rirodan book. And I'm like, why? Why is it that we read the latest book, and 4 months later we hear there's a new Percy Jackson book coming out this year? And I'm like, And I'm like, is it my imagination? Or do I feel like that the quality of his books are starting to go downhill? The quality of his screenwriting definitely has gone downhill. And you know, the thing about it is that, and I was watching this video about the 3 actors who play Percy, Grover, and Annabeth, and how they have a great chemistry off screen, but it doesn't translate to on screen. Not like with Dan Rubert and Emma. They had a great chemistry off screen, great chemistry on screen. It just amazes me to like no end that you can write close to, trying to guess, Magnus Chase, King Chronicles, which is 6. No, let's see, 6. 11, 16, 17, 18. Oh god, I don't know. Maybe like 19 books. But, and then of course, like 19, maybe like, yeah, 20 books. 20 books. And then we've got one more coming out probably next year. And hopefully that'll be the end of it. Hopefully no more Percy Jackson. Oh, I forgot. He's written close to about 25 books. Just close to 25 books. And I'm like, okay, even I'm getting tired of this. I'm getting tired of the saturation of Rirodan's books. I really am getting so tired of it. You have written all these books in 20 years, maybe 25 years, and I'm like, oh god. And then we have the movies. I think we had some merchandise. We did not have a video game. I was upset about that. And then of course we might have had a video game. I don't know. It's been so long. Oh god, I'm aging too fast. And then we have the show. I had such high hopes for the show. And you know, I personally don't care about if Annabeth Chase is played by a person of color. They're not real characters. I care about historical figures being race swapped, but I do not care about non-real people. But the thing is that I think there was a hidden reason why Rirodan went and chose a girl of color to play Annabeth Chase. And that is that he knew, if he did it, that fans of the books would be upset. And as someone who kind of can get a feeling that he's a narcissist. It's all about him. And I know some people are going to say, Rirodan isn't a narcissist. He's a great author. He's just calling out the haters. The haters didn't pop up until, you know, I don't seem to understand it or get it. I take one thing about authors is I take their words with a huge grain of salt. And I have learned you don't believe everything that authors say. You don't take authors by their word. Because if your goal is to drum up controversy so that you're up there on the top of the news feed or whatever, it really shows that this is not about fulfilling the fans' desire. It is fulfilling your own desire. And it is so stupid. And then, of course, Netflix decided not to adapt the King Chronicles into 3 movies. And I don't know, I mean, I don't know if, I don't know the reasoning, like, behind it. I would have really loved to have um, seen it, because I really loved it that Saudi and Carter Kane were interracial. It really shows like that particular dynamic. Of course, there could have been another reason, and I ain't going into that because it's going to go into the R word, and I'm not going into that. Um, but I just find it very kind of odd that Netflix, that has the ability to adapt something complex as Avatar: The Last Airbender, successfully could not adapt the Kane Chronicles into like like the length of the Titanic. Come on. It's really weird. The movie was over 2 hours long. The ship took over 2 hours to sink. I was just like, yeah. Yes. If anyone noticed that, then you can notice things. But I think that I really think like what we're going to really start seeing after the third book comes out, which I will tell you, I'm not going to read the second book. I'm not going to read the third book. I got the first book. I also have it on audiobook. So, so yeah, and I can actually listen to the audio version of the book. But I'm sorry. It's like, and this is something else that agitates me as an author, is when you go and turn people from being straight to being gay. And the reasoning that Rirodan gives for this is because of the fact that the Aphrodite toyed with Piper's emotions. Okay, let's be very, very clear on this. Okay, so this literally is something that I really don't like about it. Is, first and foremost, I have yet to read a Reddit about how did Piper react to Jason's death during the trials of Apollo. And I really want to read that to try to find out, like, how did Piper react to it. And it's kind of telling of where Rirodan, there's an entire list of crimes that Rirodan has done with his characters. The stereotypes that he has done, all this stuff. And it is not good. If you are loving a book series, okay, and everything, you can hide the transgressions that you do, as long as you don't open your mouth and say them. So, for example, Piper is considered to be the stereotypical Native American, even though she is half Native American. I think they were saying that Nancy Bobblefit was the stereotypical Jew that white supremacists love to use, and on and on and on and on. You go on Reddit, there's an entire list of crimes that Rirodan has committed. And then, of course, there was the open attack on the Hellenic community in Greece, basically saying, these are just stories. I don't know why in the world people, and for a lot of people, that is how they got into these particular kinds of religious areas. And he actually had to do a formal apology because of the, you know. But Rirodan has a bad habit of opening his mouth and inserting his big foot. So it's not anything new that he's done. He's done stereotypes, he's done insults. It's something that Rirodan is very known for doing. Lack of brain cells. He cannot write a script to save his life. There was this one guy who actually watched the entire series and said that it just felt flat, and Percy didn't have any of the humor that we associate with Percy, which tells you that a lot of authors will stay away from script writing for this particular reason. That sometimes they cannot convey what they were able to do in a book to a screenplay, which is fine. Rowland also proved that she is not a script writer. But it is very important to understand that when you have authors that pump these books out over and over and over again with no breaks, no breathing room, that this is a byproduct of what I said on that girl's video. That it is the publisher that is the reason that you're getting that next book so quickly. Because they're under extreme stress to produce the next book. So I told you guys at the beginning of the video that I was going to mention one author that I think is either the byproduct of a publisher that wants these books churned out like a sweatshop, or she probably had a lot of manuscripts done and they just natural is like them being published. So before I go to her, I will mention Sophie Kelly is bringing out 2 books this year, and they're part of the same series, the Magical Kitties Mystery and Magical Cats Mystery. One in August and one in September. And I'm like, I had to do a double check on that. I was just like, what the heck? Like, you're bringing 2 books side by side? I don't even do that most of the time. But the one that outdoes Rirodan is the author of the Donut Shop Mystery. And I actually have the first 4 books on Kindle, and I also have the audio book of it. And I discovered that she has written 59 books in her series. This woman is immortal. She does not age at all. But it's like, what the heck? Now, some series are pretty limited. So they'll just basically they'll put a time frame on it, and then you know that these are self-limiting, self-contained, and all that. Like the Barkery and Biscuit Mystery, I believe she only brought out 5 books, I believe. I might be wrong, might be 4. I definitely know it's not 3. Might be 4, it might be 6, I don't know. And she's not brought out a new one. But she has the Bagel Mania one that she brought out, and I actually have the first book in that series. But anyways, yeah, 59 books. Dang, woman, that is a lot of donuts you've made. But anyways, yeah. But, going back to authors like Rirodan, they don't believe in breaks because their big worry is, and I'm going to take a very good guess with this. Their big worry is if they actually had to sit down and they actually had to spend time writing a book that would take them 2-3 years to finish, that people would totally forget about them and they would not sell the book. But yeah, that's just my my view on it and everything. So, yeah. But as for moi, I've got the 28th. My Dragon Queen's coming out, and August. I have actually take it back. Um, oh no, never mind. I already have that proofread. I was thinking about something else. Next month, my Death at the PTA's coming out. I already have it all like reviewed again on Kindle Create. Um, I'm going to actually go back and just double check that all the like page like where they're supposed to be. And after that, today I will officially add it to my Amazon account. So I will see you guys around.